Well, I'm going to be saying goodbye to this bag. This was my everyday carry bag for many years, actually. But the zippers have finally failed on it to the point where I can't even carry it. The zippers have bound up and ripped and torn. This back one won't stay open anymore. And I can't get the zippers past this point to get them to be used on either one. They don't even hold together on this one. But that's not to say this bag didn't work extremely well. I paid about $35 for this bag at a big box store. It's American Tourister. So had real good success with it. You can see that it's a laptop briefcase, soft-sided. It was good for travel. The shoulder strap I used on it a lot to carry it over my shoulder. It was solid. The attachments are metal. No worse for wear after maybe 5 years of daily use. The sort of leather textured rubber piece here, which usually fails, didn't ever really fail. The nylon, the Condura nylon, I'm sure, probably maybe even 1000 denier, eventually started to fray, but again, daily use, used it a lot, traveled with it. So I'm taking the strap off to make it a little easier, but the strap I would normally have on it. Just a little side note, I carried this, it's a real carabiner, not just a for show cheap carabiner. So this one can actually hold weight. And the reason I like to carry it is in an emergency, you've got it for like a defensive tool. Plus if for some reason I carry 550 cord, if I did need to drop the bag or do some sort of use where I needed a real carabiner that could hold a little bit of weight, I carried this around. Otherwise, the back of the bag, I'm not really ever totally sure what these compartments were for. They come straight through, and I can only assume that when you have one of those pieces of luggage with the handle that kind of telescopes out of them, I used it like that a couple of times, and I think that's probably what it's for. So in other words, the larger suitcase with a telescoping handle, I could slide this down the handle and carry both of them very easily through an airport. Otherwise, these didn't help me. They didn't bother me. But I would have been just as happy with a large pocket or else nothing back here. Looking again, the sewing was very good. The reason I bought this bag, everything was double stitched. It looked like it was made out of quality materials, and it really held up. This back one was just a large open pocket with a divider, and this was large enough for my laptop. In fact, when I would travel, I could put a laptop in each compartment and carry 2 laptops and all their wires and garbage pretty much in this one soft-sided case, which was handy. That allowed me to bring them into the airplane with me and not have to use them as checked baggage. Otherwise, this back compartment would also be good for folders or any kind of paperwork. This larger compartment, it doesn't really show here in the video perhaps, but it's wide enough that it didn't really lend itself for papers. This one was just a bit narrower, and with the divider, papers would stay up and down in it because it's a soft-sided case, and you can tell after time it started to lose any structure it might have had. So it was nice to be able to keep papers back here and they wouldn't get destroyed or too wrinkled. So that back one opens up quite a bit to allow, room for a laptop or whatever. This front one only unzipped to here though, where the other one unzipped all the way to the bottom. So that just kept it more of a pouch. And inside there's 2 larger pouches here and here, and they're fairly sloppy. I would normally carry my camera and a tripod in this first one, and that left me, of course, plenty of room for other things, depending on the situation or where I was going. I have this large section in the center, and then in this other section I typically carry my sunglass container, and right now I have it set up the way I would normally have it, with an extra Glock magazine in a Phobos style paddle holster, so that allowed me to clip it onto the pouch, onto the pocket, and then underneath there I have yet another spare magazine. And again, I could take those out or add to them depending on what I was doing. So now the 2 large pockets are empty, and really the reason I like this bag so much is it was so modular. I could use this open pouch for just about anything, like I say, a laptop. If I was going to the shooting range, I could carry cameras, tripods. Really a great size. Speaking of size, we've got approximately 15 inches wide, approximately, well, about 12 inches tall, and then again approximately 5 inches deep. And I just found this to be a perfect size. It was small enough that it didn't seem as though I was carrying a backpack around with me, and large enough that I could carry everything I ever needed daily and a lot more if necessary, and I could travel with it. It was just a great size. Being the black color allowed it to go just about anywhere. It was just always thought of as a briefcase, because really that's what it was. But this next pocket really was the thing that impressed me about it and allowed me to carry a lot more stuff. I like to be prepared, so it allowed me to carry quite a bit of stuff. I'm going to stop for a moment just to take a quick weight of it if I can. It's a little clumsy to try to get a weight of this, but just to get an idea of the stuff I would normally carry. Reset the scale to 0 there. And I might have to help keep it on the scale. It's about 6 pounds, 4.2 ounces with the stuff I have in it right now. Now, I haven't used the bag in a couple of months now. We've been experimenting with some other bags. And in that time, some of the stuff's been scavenged from this bag. But for the most part, I packed it up like I used to carry it. So now, again, we've got this large pocket I was about to talk about. And it opens just about the entire length of the case. 2 zipper pulls, heavy-duty zipper. And I did access this one quite a bit, and these zippers held up the most. So I think it was just a function of the weight I carried in these larger pockets that destroyed their zippers. Now this one I kept a small LED light on it, and I would sort of tag it here because I didn't open this one very often. Having the zippers meet up in that corner, if I had this around my left side, it allowed me to gain access, or if I had it around my right side, it still allowed quick access. And I could just open the top and get down in and see most of the stuff because I knew where everything was. Or if I really needed to get into it, you can open these up all the way, and it really opens up quite a bit, so you can get at everything, find something if it got lost. Now this just fell down, but it is a pepper spray thing, and it fits perfect just over here. Again, if I didn't pull the zippers down all the way, it would almost be in a pocket there. So it's sort of a simple organizer: a pocket, another pocket, a pocket with a little clear pocket in front of it. In the flap itself, there's yet another mesh pocket with a substantial zipper. So I kept the LED light on the zipper pull, and this one can either be turned on or momentary on. And I used the blue one because it was a giveaway from Arms, the people that make mounts and levers and things. And then 2, it didn't ruin night vision being blue. And I've had this for years, never changed the battery, it works great. So we mentioned the pepper spray. This is a simple, like a jogger's pepper spray with an elastic strap on it. The thing turns to lock it. Never had it discharge accidentally. Had it there on the side. It never really took any abuse. There's enough structure to the bag, that it never took any abuse from being put down or dinged into things. It's an aluminum container. There's no dents on it. It really looks about 80% new still, even though it's years old. Then we've got this sort of attachment point that I have a lens cleaner from EOTech, which is basically a soft little piece of cloth that comes out of this little neoprene little pouch and allows you to clean camera lenses or glasses. I mostly use these for cameras so they don't get too messy with sweat and stuff from glasses, but a lot of people use them for their eyewear. Then also on a lanyard, we've got another blue LED. This one is also from Arms, but this was a different one, and it didn't have the stay on. So I just kept this one basically to help find the USB hole for this USB flash drive. You can tell this is old. It's only 128 megabytes, so definitely have had this pack for a while. So this was definitely helpful, though, and having some little bit of storage when you're in the computer business really helps out. There's some elastic loops up here, and on one I always kept the thing a chapstick. We've got a a Phoenix light in here. This one uses AA batteries, and I use a lot of AA batteries with the cameras. So this one's great. I can take the batteries after they don't work in a camera anymore, and they work just fine in this L2D from Phoenix, and has multiple settings. So pretty useful light. It's a little long for normal carry because it's got two AA batteries in it. So it worked out pretty good in this pack though. I'm digging out of this middle pouch here in the back. This is just a fancy handcuff key. This is one of the small screwdrivers for working on electronics gear. A highlighter. I've scavenged out my good pens and my Sharpies that would normally be in this area as well. Digging into some of the tools. Leatherman Micra, which is the small scissors. And it offers enough tools, little files and small blades, like a pocket knife, to be a useful little tool. I keep it on a small piece of 550 so it's easy to grab and find. Along with that is I think the Executive, just a small Swiss Army Victorinox, scissors, file, and blade with a little screwdriver at the end of the file. So not a lot of tools, but the tweezers and the toothpick, handy to have, especially for travel, assuming you're driving, because you can't take that on an airplane. A big lighter, a small set of hemostats out here in the desert. There's always a risk of knocking into a cactus or something, and these are perfect for getting those little stickers out. I keep a half a toothbrush. This was a business type of thing, so it was inconspicuous for the most part, but if I went somewhere, it's just nice to be able to look presentable. A whistle, and a Fresnel magnifying lens, which was handy as a magnifier, but it was also, potentially survival type of thing. We've got two more big pockets. In the right side, on the one side, I have a chunk of 550, some hand sanitizer from Adventure Medical, pretty handy little pump with some sanitizer in there. It's a hand sanitizer that's not alcohol. It hasn't evaporated. Had it in here probably 2-3 years now. On the other side is sort of the little small medical kit. I've got just a Ziploc bag with some calcium tablets and then some ibuprofen. So not a real intense medical kit, but that's about the extent of stuff I ever need. Unless I'm driving, and for some reason I fall asleep on the road all the time, so I like to keep some caffeine gum. And then for any emergencies or problems, we do go shooting quite a bit. So we're at ranges, and just in case a first aid kit was forgotten, I've got a big thing of gauze and this big emergency bandage. I think this is the 4-inch. Still hasn't reached its expiration date. We got some extra Ziploc baggies, some small Band-Aids, and then a couple of motion sickness pills, and some cold pills, just in case you ever travel and you need something like that. So that was pretty much what's in the pockets there. And then in the flap, right now I have a gift card from a grocery store for some reason. I've got a USB flash drive that doesn't have any internal memory, but it uses the SD cards. So it's basically just an SD card reader, which in the days before laptops, just having them built in was pretty handy. I've got another memory stick, it looks like. Then we've got another small piece of 550, a bunch of batteries, AA batteries, a bunch of more AA batteries, and then a holder for 1, 2, 3 batteries for flashlights that I just don't happen to have in there right now. So for the most part, that allowed me to quickly get access to the batteries. If we were doing a lot of filming, I could just open the top of this pouch, and that would get me access to the batteries right there. I had some first aid stuff if I needed it. Had some 550 and a couple of simple tools, so if I had to repair something in a hotel room or get something to work again, it was, I had some crude tools to do it. I didn't want to go nuts, but again, a 7-pound bag, well, for the quality of the bag, 7 pounds worth of stuff in it. I'm really going to have a hard time finding a new bag to replace this one. I really liked its construction, I liked its durability, I liked its usefulness, and I liked its simple look. It just didn't turn any heads ever. It was just a little bag. So American Tourister, if you can find them. I think I paid about $35 many years ago for it. Interesting bag.